What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon, and I'm back at you another one. And this one is semi-small council review. We got some members here, exactly everybody, but we got a couple of people up in here rocking with us, and we're gonna introduce them right off the bat. You know what I mean? But then we're gonna go to all y'all people out here chilling and chat with me. So first and foremost, ladies first, we have T Baby.
Hey, everybody. I'm so glad that finally we get to do a small council, even though ain't nobody really here, but they're all in spirit. And y'all know, no matter what, when we all get together, we're going to have a good time.
Ain't no doubt about it. And we are chilling here with the other member, Charlie in Westeros.
Howdy, folks. Charlie in Westeros, as always, here for a nice small council chat. And I really got to give Tony a huge thank you and shout out because really without him, we would not be doing this small council discussion right now. So thank you, Tony, for pulling through, for making sure at least a few of us are here right now. We're hoping Nico's going to join shortly. So there will be more than just three of us and maybe MP a bit later. I can also mention that unfortunately LaDonna and James won't be joining us today. All is good with them. They are very busy. So it looks like that if we do the small council discussions this year, they might not be with us. I'm holding out hope that maybe, just maybe, we'll get to do a small council discussion at some point involving all of us, including James and LaDonna, but we'll have to see about that.
Who knows? You know what I mean? We'll see how it goes. And it doesn't matter, you know, we're here. We're going to get it popping for y'all and everything else. And everybody in the chat chilling with us right now. We're about 100 strong right off the bat, you know what I mean? So, you know, we chilling here. We're doing our thing. Thanks for everyone chilling out here. Let me give us some quick shout outs real quick. We got Aaron Z, Christy of Old Soul Stones. Mandy Bradley is up in the building. We got, who is that? Sontavia Major is up in here. Georgie Jedi is here. Tina Sarah is here. Of course, Renee M. of House Stark is holding down the Gizat. OTDA has got the strap for the dime. We got John Haymaker in the building. Queen Cheryl Strader is up in the building with me right now. Lord Dom Snow is here. Christy of Old Stones. Aegon Stark. Edward Martin. Lady F, I'm going to say that, is in the building. We got a bunch of people in here. You know, I'll come back. Red Rider Power Ranger is in the building. Danny McKay is in the building. Is the Fury is in the building with us. We got a bunch of people up in here. We're going to keep giving shout outs. We're going to keep going it through. You know how it is, people. But first, I want y'all opinion straight up. Let's get a ranking of the episode. You know, a scale of 1 to 10. You know, 1 being shitty, 10 being the best episode you ever seen. What did you rate this opening episode? Anyone, yeah.
I'll go with 6.57. I enjoyed the episode. Look, 5 means that I enjoyed it, right? Because people don't get the whole ranking system. 5 means you enjoyed it. So it's a little bit more like I enjoyed a lot of things, but then it's a lot of things I didn't care for. Maybe I'm being biased, but I think I might enjoy this episode as a whole once the whole series is finished and be like the whole season as it goes along together. But for right now, I'm giving it a cool 6.5, edging to 7.
T-Baby, I am so glad I did not have you as a prof in university. But I get what you're saying. On my end, I think I would give it, well, what I gave it in my own review was an 8.5, and I'm sticking to that review, I think, or sticking to that ranking. When I first watched the show or the episode, it felt kind of slow because, you know, with Game of Thrones, especially the last couple of seasons, I've been used to more fast-paced episodes, and this one kind of felt a little slower than usual. But it is the first episode of the last season, and they have a lot of things to set up. So as far as, like, first episodes go for a Game of Thrones season, I gave it an 8.5 because it was a great setup episode. We got all the information we needed to get from the like for this season. So yeah, 8.5 seemed like a fair ranking in terms of as far as GOT goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a 40-degree day for me. You know what I mean? And ain't no one give a goddamn about a 40-degree day. I can't give it. See, it's hard because I'm so happy that the show came back on
Mm-hmm.
that I think that makes people a little bit more biased on the reviews and gives it a bigger rating. But if this was out right after the other season ended, after we watched that last episode, and this was the follow-up episode, I don't think people would rank this over a 4. You know what I mean? So to me, this is a 40-degree day, and ain't no one give a goddamn about a 40-degree day. I understand it's got to set things up and it's got to build things and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it just, I thought the reunions were hollow. The Jon Snow reunions. So it's all right. I'll give it the 4. I'm hoping that it gets better. You know what I mean? I didn't hate it, but I didn't go back and rewatch it. Last season, I remember in the early seasons, I rewatched season after season, watched it constantly. I didn't rewatch last season at all. So we'll see where it goes. I just think that it's there's no excuse for me for this thing to be a great season. There's no excuse. They have all of the money they could possibly have. It should have been better. I understand what everyone's saying, but 40-degree day to me. That's it, 40 degrees. So I'll say that's about a 4.5.
And y'all thought I was terrible. He gave it a 4.
I 4.5.
Damn.
Oh, excuse me. He gave it a 4.5.
That's still a failing grade.
Care for it at all.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I'm just saying it was alright. You know what I mean? It was alright. It wasn't nothing special. It was like, when you go to Walmart and leggings are in style, right? And all these women, they like to wear these leggings, but not everyone should be rocking them. You know what I mean? It was like that. It was like a chick in leggings that shouldn't have been wearing them. I was happy to see the leggings until I looked up. She should have got a longer shirt. You know what I mean? That's the way I felt about this goddamn thing.
Legit. So for those in the discussion don't realize it, Tony's trying to get me to go to the Con of Thrones this summer. And honestly, I think half the appeal for me to go is just to be able to talk to Tony and have him, share his witty banter like this right now. So
and he does, I don't know,
you're convincing me.
In person,
I believe it. I've heard.
Same person online is literally the same person. Tony, I woke up. Tony was dancing on the balcony, just having a good ass time. That's Tony for you.
Yeah,
it's funny. People on YouTube, there's a stereotype that we're all kind of awkward in person, and probably for myself, I can agree with that stereotype. But with Tony, I feel he's one of those people who's charismatic on camera and off camera. So,
well, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? This is who I am. This is it. Either it's good enough for you or it's not. That's what it is. I don't front, man. You know what I mean? And that's the way it goes down. So, we got our rankings out and stuff like that. And usually, I'm gonna pass the microphone right now over to Charlie, because he's the one who usually holds down the small council meetings. Even though it's on my channel, I'm allowed Charlie to take the reins for a couple. So, Charlie, go ahead, set us off where you would like us to begin.
You sure, Tony? You don't mind?
Yeah, of course I don't.
Alrighty. Well, if I have the Dons leave, then so be it. What I was going to say is I'll just recap events at King's Landing first, since that's one of the shorter scenes, and I feel like it's a good way to start off this discussion. And there's not a lot to say in terms of what happened there, but in short, Qyburn informs Cersei that the White Walkers have breached the wall, which of course pleases her. Euron Greyjoy also arrives at King's Landing with Yara as his prisoner and with the Golden Company commanded by Harry Strickland. Euron uses his deeds to convince Cersei to start their relationship and the pair have sex. Euron insists that he will impregnate Cersei, who appears to be visibly upset when he leaves the room. Qyburn also visits Bronn and presents him with Joffrey's crossbow. And he says that if Jaime and Tyrion survive the war against the dead, then Cersei wants Bronn to assassinate them. So I don't know if you guys want to hear my thoughts on that scene first, or if you want to, yeah. All right, I'll give my thoughts, and I have a couple of questions possibly that come out of that. So my first thought was about Cersei's pregnancy. So it wasn't something I debated before, but this season I've seen a lot of people say that she actually isn't pregnant. I know there were also some earlier theories saying that she is, like when season 7 was on, people were saying she's pregnant, but she's going to probably lose the child. I also realize basically a lot of the discussion around Cersei's ability to produce an heir at this time has kind of been called into question because she seemed fairly willing to sleep with Euron. So it was almost like her way of hopefully getting a child because maybe Jaime wasn't successful. Honestly, if it wasn't something I had considered while watching the episode, like when I was watching, I didn't think about that. But now that people have said that, it kind of does make me, in a way, sense that there's a parallel with Dany's arc. You know, we've kind of been led this whole time to believe that Dany will never be able to have a child based off the prediction based off of the prophecy that Mary Masdor gave her in season 1. And then there's also a lot of people now saying that, Dany's probably going to get pregnant with Jon and give birth by the end of the series. Whereas with Cersei on the flip side, she's been, her ability to produce kids hasn't really been called into question. She's had 3 healthy known children. So, there's no room to doubt her childbearing abilities. So I think it would be kind of interesting if it turns out Dany is able to have a child, an heir, maybe a prince that was promised or a princess. Whereas Cersei remains barren and I guess ends without having any children. In a way, I think the last thing that Cersei is kind of holding on to is the hope of having a child, whether or not she's pregnant. So those are kind of my thoughts on Cersei specifically. I'm kind of curious to hear what you guys think of that. I also want to know what you think about her interaction with, what kind of goes into the same question, her interaction with Euron. Did she do it because she wants to have a child? Did she do it because she's into him? Did she do it because she's lonely? At first, when I saw the episode, I thought maybe she was just lonely and wanting some attention. So Euron was the best available candidate. Yeah, I'll leave my questions at that for now, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts.
As far as Cersei and Euron, I think, well, let me talk about her pregnancy first. With the pregnancy, Walder Frey, she was drinking when she was pregnant. So I think her drinking has nothing really to do if she's still pregnant or not. Now, in the books, they actually show signs of Cersei actually being pregnant. Like with Tywin's funeral, she could take on his smell. Everyone around them was like covering their nose and putting flowers on their nose. She was upset at Tommen for saying it smells, but she could take it on. And then I think the next chapter, she can't stand the smell of eggs. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And then in that chapter, it says like the egg came out misinformed or misshapen. So that made me think, one, that Cersei was going to get, that she was pregnant a while ago. But secondly, that the child, it was either going to be misformed. But that's in the books. So going into the show, I still think that she is possibly pregnant and that the drinking is just to throw people off. But they've shown us in the show that pregnant women have been able to drink. So that's not really a big thing. As far as Euron, she didn't have a choice. Euron was basically saying, I'm about to take my ships and my men and go. She had no choice but to have sex with that man. And that just shows that as great as she was in season 6 and in season 5, all of her plans is like starting to come and it's starting to backfire now. Now you're seeing the aftermath. It's like with her conversation with Olenna when she said that, sometimes you have to work with your enemies, where Cersei just destroyed her enemies, which is kind of like what Dany is doing too. I hate to draw that comparison, but birds of a feather. Yeah, that's all I have as far as Cersei. She had gave us that great line, if you want a queen, work for her. If you want a whore, buy one. But then she drops her shit the next 10 minutes. So I didn't get that. But I mean, no, I do get that. She has to still hold her position and show that she has power. But we all knew that once Jon started saying, I'm about to go, that was her only move.
No doubt, no doubt. First, let me check out Super Chat from Fernandez T, making the weekend better. All hail the small council. Happy 420 again. Thank you, sir, for the Super Chat. We really do appreciate that. And I've seen a couple of Super Chats I missed. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but thank you for the other ones that I did receive. I did see them go up, but obviously, it's hard for me to get to them. People, so it's hard when you've got discussion going on and stuff like that. But if y'all just put your question in there, whoever did ask the Super Chat, just put it up there. You ain't got to put another Super Chat in there. Just put a question in there and I'll answer that. When I'm dealing with Cersei Lannister, the girl who gave up the Punani pretty quick. She did.
Very quickly.
She gave the Punani up really fast. Maybe she's lonely. I don't know, but I know she dropped them drawers really fast. Now, I don't think Euron satisfied her. It didn't seem like when she came out of it, like he blew her mind. I didn't see her legs twitching. I didn't see nothing. I just seen her get up like, all right, next. Like, so I don't know about this man's game. I think his game might be type weak. That's why he was asking for, when you have to ask questions when it's over. Hey, how was that? How do I compare? When you got to say that, that's when you know you did a bad job. You know you did. And he was trying to get some reassurance. You know what I mean? That maybe it wasn't that bad. No, he did a bad job when it comes down to that. That's the way I look at it. Now, when I see the whole Cersei pregnancy thing, I know they said before, like, oh, there was a rumor that at the end of last season, she's supposed to wake up in this bed of blood and everything else. And then she's drinking alcohol. That means she's not pregnant. Man, there's chicks who smoke crack today, right? And is pregnant. You're going to tell me that people in the Middle Ages knew that alcohol affected your baby? They didn't know nothing like that. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing, I don't think. So, I remember when I was young, there was the no car seat rule. And my pops and all of them, there was no DWI. They was drinking and driving. We were bouncing around the back seat, falling all over the place. Ain't no one care. So now, and that was in the 80s. So now all of a sudden in medieval times, this chick knows that drinking is going to hurt your baby. I cannot buy it. I do not buy it. And I shall not buy it whatsoever. But I do think that it was a game. I thought that she put a hand on her belly to get Tyrion on her side because she knew how much Tyrion cared about her kids. And I'm still going to roll with that fact that she ran game. Now, as for the crossbow thing with Bran and him saying to kill Tyrion, I don't buy that whatsoever. I think she may want him to throw Tyrion's name in there so that people were not thrown off to the fact that Tyrion has already made a plan with Cersei. I still stick to that. I know people are saying that that's not true because of that, but I think it is true. I think they just put that in there real quick just so not to throw anyone off and not give it away. She's working with Tyrion. That's a done deal. We got a super chat here from my man Dick Derrick Brock. I heard you held me down in the chat the other day. Thank you, sir. I really do appreciate that, showing the Don love and stuff like that. Let people know that Teflon soldiers is all over the place. And he says, if y'all could change anything about the show, what would it be? I'd keep Tyrion alive just so we have an epic stare down with the Night King before the battle. Tywin alive.
I was about to say, what is Tyrion going to do?
Tywin alive. It's to have an epic stare down battle with the Night King before the battle. Happy 420. Now, what would y'all, let's answer Derek's question real quick. What would y'all, if you could change anything? Me, I'll tell you straight up. I keep Stannis alive. Two things. I would keep Stannis alive, and I would keep Sir Barris and Selmy alive. Those would to be the two people that I would, if I had to change anything, I would bring them both back. What would
but you only do one, so who would it be? Barris or Stannis?
If it's just
okay.
One,
you can't have two. You can't.
All right, I'll just say Stannis then. And thank you for the super chat, Manola. Thank you for the super chat, girl. I appreciate that. All right, so if y'all could do one thing, change one thing about the show, what would you do?
I would put Ghost of High Heart in there. Because she did with those. I love the prophecy of the stories, and I wish that we had more prophecies. And I just love that character when it comes to prophecy. So I would love to see Patchface. Hey,
Nico.
Hey.
Oh,
wait, can you see me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I got to go to super chat a little bit so I can pull it over and see you. I can't wait to see you. I cannot see you. I see your picture, but I don't see you personally. There you go, girl.
Yeah, there we go. Hello. Oh my God, I look shiny.
You're shiny. You oiled up.
No, I put some luminizing thing, and now it looks like, oh my goodness.
Oh, you look beautiful. You look beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I've not seen you in such a long time. So happy.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm about to talk to you like we ain't live right now. So like,
yeah, sure.
Joining us, obviously, is another small council member. So happy she could make it with us. Nicolina. Thank you, Nicolina, for joining us right now. And so happy to have you here.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here. Sorry for being late. I had to have dinner first.
As long as you're here. As long as you're here, that's all that matters.
Yes.
We need our astrophysicist, a real life astrophysicist.
Yes. Yes.
Gotta have that. That's you're our Big Bang Theory girl, man. You're the one.
Yes. Maybe a little bit. Now I
Nah,
don't do astrophysics anymore. Now I build a detector. It's a
you what?
different. I'm building a dark matter detector now. That's
A
my job.
Dark
matter
matter.
detector you're building right
Yeah.
now?
That's great.
That's just crazy. You hear that? That's who I'm talking to right now. That's who I'm talking. I'm
And
talking
she
to
said it
someone
like
that's
it's
building
nothing. I'm
a
just
dark
building it.
matter detector,
Yeah.
and she's not
Well,
talking
it's not just
about a
me.
detector that detects black people, folks. She don't mean that, right? She means a real dark matter detector.
Oh, oh
Nico
my God, I
Lena,
missed you so much.
I miss you too, darling. Miss you too. So, Nico Lena, girl, can we get your rating for the first episode? What you thought about
Yes.
it? Scale of 1 to 10.
I think 5 out of 10.
Right.
Did I disappoint? I
I
don't
guess
know.
I'm the
No.
generous one.
I
Yeah,
said, yeah, 5, 6.5, something like that.
yeah, yeah. Because the thing that ruined it for me was the way Sam told John. It was just womp womp womp. I don't know. I did not like it. Everything else was more or less okay, but that thing really ruined it for me. So hence, but it's the first episode, so it's fine, I guess.
I hear you. I gave it 4.5, and I agree with you that was very lackluster. We got a super chat from AU Pack Meal 24.99. Thank you so much. It's so great to see you all again. AU Pack Meal. It's great to have you in the chat rocking with us, brother. And thank you for the super chat. You know what I mean? But you're gonna get one back as soon as you do your live stream. Ha! But thank you, Nico. Charlie, we were talking about Cersei Lannister's part in the beginning of the episode. What did you feel about Cersei and Euron's interactions? I mean, she gave up the Punani very quick. You know, first she said she wasn't going to do it, then the drawers came right down. But what do you feel about that part?
You asking me?
Yes, yes, yes. We
I
never
think
answered
it
that, but we're
was.
catching you up.
Um, I think it was. Well, it was a meme perfect. Like, of course, I think this is why it was written that way. But I don't understand her point. Like, why does she need him as a well? She needs him for two reasons. Obviously, the first one as the source of like army weapons, whatever. The second one for his like to be with him as a man. Why? I never understood that. So for me, it was a bit confusing, and it took too long. I really hope that when the first is back and forth between them in the throne room, that she would just walk away, and then she stopped and turned around. That was like, come on, girl, no, yeah, right, T baby, why are you laughing? Right, she just walked away. No, you don't need
I
this.
agree with you totally.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
gave that.
and
She
the
gave that.
damn elephants. Yeah, I mean, it was perfect for internet memes, but other than that. I don't and like what did he bring and what's his reasoning? This whole Greyjoy plot now when I think about it, it was always just too much. They shouldn't put it in the show, I think.
I agree. I mean, Charlie, I'm gonna give it back to you in a second, but real quick, since we're talking about Greyjoy, I really thought that the Theon Yara Greyjoy scene was whack. I mean,
Yeah.
the how he broke her out of there. I just think, to me, that was just like they were like, all right, we gotta wrap this up or something like that with Yara. I don't even know if we're gonna see Yara again for the rest of the season. The way they did it, it's just like they felt
Yeah.
like, all right, we gotta get this plot point thread quick, and they did. It was just like the fastest thing. I don't know how he was able to pull this off so fast. He just went over there, killed a couple of people. Is that easy to break her out? I mean, why was she being held captive all the time if it was that easy? If he was able to get through, I mean, I could have did that myself, with a big pen or something. It didn't
Yeah.
seem like it was that hard for him to get past it. This is the same guy who did a 5-star frog splash off the ship, scared to death. And now all of a sudden he just knocks him right out and gets there. I did not like that whatsoever. Y'all want to just talk about that and then Charlie take it over, man.
Yeah, no, I'm down to talk about that. I don't know if you guys want to share your thoughts first. But basically, I think, Tony, you kind of hit the nail on the head when you're saying it felt like that they wanted to just finish it up. I think the scene was kind of meant to conclude the whole Greyjoy arc in the sense of Theon's storyline, because his whole journey was about that struggle between his Stark family and his, his biological, his real, in quotes, family as the Greyjoys. And I think the whole purpose of that scene was just to have Yara tell Theon, it's all right. You don't have to choose between me and them. You can go and help the Starks fight against the White Walkers and all that. And I do think we're going to see Yara again one last time. I think once the Battle of Winterfell concludes, and I think, obviously the forces of the living are going to fail there, there's going to have to be some way to save the people, rescue them. And I really think this is just my hunch / predictions. I think that the Greyjoys, at least on Yara's side, are going to have to come in and probably evacuate a lot of the population from the north via the sea. I mean, it's obviously it's going to be more complicated than that, but I think the Niddon, at its core, it's going to come down to the Greyjoys with Yara intervening by Theon's desire, wishes to help save the survivors of Winterfell. That's just my hunch on that.
Nice. Yeah, Renee Emma House Dark Super Chat says, welcome back, Small Council. We missed you. We missed you, James Ladonna. All in favor, hit the like button. All right. Nicolina, how did you feel about the Theon Yara rescue situation?
I liked that. Well, I like that he saved her, and then when she punched him or whatever, that was cute. That was in line with Greyjoy thing. But in a way, it was too quick. I understand they need to finish the show, but I don't know. In the books, are they going to go more back and forth of their exchange, or like he's going to betray her again, and then it will take some time for her to, lick her wounds and forgive, and I don't know. But all in all, it's fine, because it's nearing the end, at least. Like she's down for Daenerys. She's going to take care of the Iron Islands in case they need. But will they need, like, in the plot? This is what Tony, like what you said, maybe this story is done here. Either way, if they're gonna stop filming there, showing what's going on in the Iron Islands or not, if they include it, for me, it's the same basically. For I really don't care much about this storyline. Yeah.
T.
I'm right up there with Nico. I don't really care for this storyline, and I agree with you. They just wrapped it up. It was way too fast and way too easy. So it's either something else is going to happen between Euron and them, because if they just ended like that, it was no point of even bringing her into the storyline. Y'all could have just ended that last season and gave us some more stuff that really matters. So that's one of the reasons why I couldn't give it higher than a 6.5, because certain parts like this just didn't make sense. It was just too easy, and it took me out of the show. It's like, really? So last season, where he could barely fight, we saw that. And now you give me a few weeks later, and now he can just chop everyone down and all that. And then you still see that when he was talking to his sister about fighting for Winterfell, he still looked like he was shook. So it kind of confused me, like they're contradicting each other. Like, who is really Theon? So I'm glad that the storyline's getting wrapped up, because it just seems the way that they handled this part, I don't want to see more of this. I'd rather see Nightwalkers fighting each other, or I'd rather see Cersei do something. I don't care to keep going on with Theon and his sister if this is all you're going to give me.
I feel you 100% on that. It just doesn't, to me, it didn't hold no water. And the fact that, of course, she's going to want him to go out there, because it's easier for her to take over the Iron Islands if he ain't around, because he is the rightful heir to the Iron Islands, or Iron Islands. So it would be, if he died, so what? It would be helpful for her to get that claim. We have a super chat from the She-Wolf of Lorraine. I think it says Laureen. I don't know. It says She-Wolf. Let's go with She-Wolf here. Love that all you are back. Been too long. Old Nan here at 60. Oh, it's Old Nan. All right, old. Is that Old Nan? Old Nan? The Old Nan from the not Con of Thrones, from the Ice and Fire Con. That Old Nan that was dancing on the dance floor doing a thing with the cane. She was breaking it down. I hope so. My fantasy is that Ghost is out getting Nymeria and the pack. Opinions, regardless of the CGI budget. We have to take these super chat questions first, Charlie. I'm sorry, but we have to do that. They pay for them, and that's what we have to do. So thank you so much for the money. It's unnecessary for you to. They keep coming. Unnecessary for it. But what do y'all think? Look, we did not get elephants, right? They chopped that up. They dashed your hopes. If you ever had a hope of an elephant in there, they took that shit right away. We know they have a huge budget here, but they took the elephants out. Do you think we're going to get the super PAC this season? Anyone, just take it away.
I hope we get it. I really do, but it's D&D, so I don't know. They might have used all that budget on them damn dragons. And so my thing is, if we don't see dragons fighting each other, and I mean viciously fighting each other, then there's no reason why they shouldn't have gave us the elephants or the direwolves. I'm hoping, this is just me hoping, but not thinking it's possibly going to happen. But I really do hope we get that wolf pack. What's the point of showing us that just to show it, you know? So I hope we get it, but I still have reservations.
No doubt. It says real quick super chat $5 here from Bob. It says, imagine Tony running through the Greyjoys with a big pen and on some Steven Seagal under siege type shit. Got me dying. That's what it would be. I would be Steven Seagal running there like a little MacGyver action. What do y'all say about the going down about the
Super PAC?
Yes, super PAC. What do you think about that? We getting that?
I'm gonna make a prediction right here. Either end of episode 3 or beginning of episode 4, the super PAC is going to come in to save the what remains of Winterfell, the population, give the main crew, Daenerys, Jon, all of them a chance to escape. Because if they lose the Battle of Winterfell, which they're going to lose, how else are they going to get out of there? They have to have some kind of diversion to save them. We've seen the White Walker, the direwolves save Bran and what's her face, Mira Reed in the north when they escaped from the werewood tree. I think this is going to be a repeat of that, but on a much larger scale, obviously. So that's my thoughts on the super PAC coming in.
I would agree with I would agree with Charlie, and he actually made a point that I'm sorry if I'm giving seasickness to someone. Now, when you mentioned the budget. Yes, so they will put it in one episode, definitely. That makes sense to save the budget because the PAC was not foreshadowed. It was basically explicitly told that we're going to get it, that there exists a PAC. So they have to include it. Considering the budget, they can do it one episode. So there might be exactly what you said, Charlie. That's very good, actually. I never thought about it. Very nice, very nice. Oh, I missed you so much. And hi everyone in the chat. Oh my god, I missed talking to you. Okay, that's it from me.
All right, look at another super chat. Let's get through these super chats so Charlie can take over. We got a super chat here from Quentin. He says, who will carry on the Stark name? Women and half-Stark Targaryens can't do it. Or does House Stark die off like other houses? Peace and stay sexy. I had the stay sexy part, but he meant it. So what do y'all think? Is House Stark going to die off? And if not, who's going to carry on the Stark name?
Ladies first. I have thoughts on that.
I think none of them. Well, I think they will all remain. Why not? They already killed off everyone who was not relevant or it was relevant to die. So what's the point of killing off? This trope with killing off Starks is too old, so I don't see any point. Maybe Tony is smirking. Maybe you have something else on your mind, but I really don't see the reason.
I'm just happy to hear your voice. That's all.
Tony always has a thought. Nico, I want to hear. Nico, sorry. T-Baby, do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's actually a good question because when you think about it, Bran obviously can't have kids. Jon's a Targ. Rickon didn't zigzag. So you only have Sansa and Arya. So it might die down. Oh my God, you look good. It might die down a little bit. They might die off, or you could have someone who would step up and say, well, who's like a cousin who say, I'll take on the family name and keep the line moving. I think they did that in the books. I just can't remember what house that was. So that's the only way I could see the line actually surviving.
Do you want to give your thoughts first, Tony?
Go right ahead, Charlie.
Ever the gentleman. My thoughts on the matter. I made a video maybe 2-3 years ago about kind of touching on this topic. Basically, my thoughts were that by the end of the series, we're going to have, in the words of Tyrion Lannister, cripples, bastards, and broken things ruling Westeros. And I think one of the early episodes of season 1, he made a comment about how he has a soft spot for this category of people. And I think in a way, we're going to witness a lot of people you wouldn't normally expect to rule various parts of Westeros, whether it's, maybe Theon as a man without parts ruling the Iron Islands. That's another theory. But in terms of the North, I could easily see Sansa ruling the North, kind of doing away with the whole history of male rulership over different areas of Westeros. I think whether it's Jon, whether it's Tyrion, whether whoever goes and rules Westeros, I think they're going to allow for a lot more leniency, or at least a lot more progress when it comes to leadership. So I think we're going to see people, including female rulers, for areas of Westeros beyond just Dorne. And of course, in Dorne, we had female rulers there, like the Martells, the Martell princesses in Westeros's past, and they always passed down the Martell family name. I cannot talk today. They always passed down the Martell family name to their descendants, despite being women. So that's kind of my thoughts on that.
All right. I got a super chat. Let me say it real quick. Big Derek Brock says, unnecessary, my ass, beers on me, Tone. Ha ha. Thank you, brother. I have to say, it's going to break down like this with the Starks. I've said this before. Y'all a fan of my channel. You've heard it. I'll say it again. Sansa Stark will marry Gendry Baratheon. He will take the name of the Starks. That's how it's going to go down. In the show, in the books, it'll be she will marry Edric Storm, and he will take the name of the Starks. That's why he is known as Ned, because he will become the new Ned Stark of Winterfell. That's how I see the Stark's name carrying on through that line, through Sansa Stark and Gendry Baratheon in the show, Edric Storm in the books. Charlie, we are done with Super Chats, I do believe. So it is up to you to take it over, brother.
Alrighty, should we move on to another area of Westeros?
Sure.
Alrighty, let's talk about Winterfell, because that's kind of the brunt of the episode was set there, which was aptly named Winterfell as well. So I'll just recap the events there, and I honestly have more questions, and I kind of want to hear what your thoughts are on this part of the episode. So Daenerys arrives at Winterfell alongside Jon Snow, her advisors Tyrion, Ser Jorah, Lord Varys, and Missandei, and Grey Worm, leading her Unsullied and Dothraki armies. Jon reunites with Bran, and Daenerys is greeted by Sansa, the townspeople, and the Northern Lords, though the pleasantries are cut short when Bran reveals to Daenerys and Jon that the Night King has reanimated Viserion and breached the wall. Sansa has ordered the Northern Lords to retreat to Winterfell to make the stand against the undead, but at council, Lyanna Mormont and the other lords express displeasure towards Jon for abandoning his position as king in the north after swearing fealty to a Targaryen, with Lord Glover even deciding to go stay with his men rather than join at Winterfell. This tension is magnified when Tyrion declares that the Lannister army will soon march north too. Sansa fears that the combined forces might overstretch their supplies, but in private implies to Tyrion that she does not believe Cersei will send her army. Arya reunites with Jon Gendry, who is working in Winterfell's forge crafting dragon glass weapons, and the Hound. Davos also suggests to Tyrion and Varys that the Northerners could be won over by betrothing Jon and Daenerys. Jon and Daenerys ride the dragons, deepening their bond. Later, Sansa accuses Jon of bending the knee out of love for Daenerys. Samwell Tarly also meets Daenerys, who thanks him for curing Jorah of his grayscale, but then she is forced to admit that she executed his father, Randall, and his brother, Dickon. Bran instructs a heartbroken Samwell to tell Jon and his true Targaryen heritage, the news of which leaves Jon stunned. Jaime Lannister arrives at Winterfell and is shocked when he encounters Bran in the courtyard waiting for him. So I'll try to limit my questions, I guess, with respect to what happens in this episode, and we can talk about predictions after. My first question, I think, was Jon riding the dragon this episode. I've heard a lot of comments from people saying it was too early, it was kind of weird, it didn't really make much sense. Personally, I thought it came at maybe not the most ideal time, but at a good enough time considering the show. So I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts on that. I also want to hear your thoughts on Daenerys, actually, this time around, because I've also read a lot of comments kind of echoing people sentiments about her in past seasons, or questioning whether she is truly good, whether she is evil. Kind of harkens back to the fact that she executed Samuel's brother and father. And I also want to hear about your thoughts on Arya's reunion. I know, Tony, you mentioned, I think it was Tony or T-Baby mentioned that you didn't really like the reunions this episode between Jon and his family members. Personally, I did like the Jon's Arya reunion, and I also did like the Arya Gendry reunion, but to each his own. But in terms of Arya, I'm really curious to hear what you guys think about that weapon she's crafting. I also have thoughts on that, but again, I want to hear your thoughts first. So I guess we'll leave the questions at that. And obviously, you guys feel free to share whatever you think about this scene.
No, real quick, I'll let y'all go, but PBR Street Gang, these super chat says, don't underestimate Team Qyburn. All right, ladies, take it away.
T, are you gonna go first, or should I? Okay. So, what was the first question?
Sorry, no worries. The first question was the
Jon and the dragons.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with you that it was not too soon. It was perfect timing, but the execution was a bit awkward. I don't know. It was not as natural. It was too quick. I don't know what we expected. I expected more of that. And the whole riding the dragons, he was just there. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
The sequence was really long, and like, what was this? And them kissing, and then they can just fly away and forget about everyone. I get this point, they have too much on their shoulders, too many plates to juggle and whatever. But I mean, that's life, right? So in that sense, it can pass, but I expected more. The other thing you asked, the reunions, I kind of liked Gendry and Arya. It was really good. Arya and Jon, well, I have a soft spot for them, so I guess I'm biased, but it could have been done better, in a better way. And the weapon, I have no clue what she's making, actually. It was some kind of a spear, right?
Yeah.
But it had you can, I don't know, screw two pieces together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never thought about it, actually, so I wouldn't know.
We also, sorry.
Yeah? No, go ahead.
All right. I just want to jump in a couple of things there, and then I'll let T-Baby, if she wants to give her thoughts. In terms of the weapon, I know that in the preview for next episode, there is a shot of Arya shooting some kind of bow and arrow, I think it was. I don't know if that has to do with this weapon being designed, but it did seem like there might be a projectile element to it, potentially. And the other thing with the dragons is I know people were kind of complaining because at that point in time, Dany still doesn't know that Jon's a Targaryen, and there's a lot of build-up about the notion that only Targaryens can ride dragons, so it was kind of strange in some people's minds why she was so willing to have Jon ride a dragon, despite not knowing about his background. Even though, of course, last season we saw him bond a little bit with Drogon. Anyway.
Well, that's a good point, actually. Yes. That was what was awkward. She was so fine with it, because she's sleeping with him, but she was sleeping with Dario and other people, and they could not, touch the dragons. Not even just ride it. So maybe a bit off. But I agree with you with the spear. But I got from the drawing that is oh my god, it reminds me of my work and workshop drawings. But is it you screw those two things together or what?
Honestly, I really do not know. I feel like Tony has a good thought on that, but
oh yeah, maybe because I really thought that it was two parts that have to be assembled. So yeah, maybe a projectile or something. Yeah, could be good.
Well, I thought that it was just that spear that we saw in the trailers with her swinging around, but it does look like it detaches. As far as the reunions, I was kind of okay with Jon and Arya's reunion. It did feel kind of rushed a little bit, like it should have lingered a little bit longer because these two haven't seen each other since season 1, and we know how close they are. I mean, even Arya couldn't really become no one because she had that link with Jon. So I don't know. I guess I was expecting a little bit more than what we got. As far as Arya and the Hound, I mean, there was that. I think it was perfect because I don't see them just hugging each other. Oh, you finally made it. Like, he was always tough on her, so I wouldn't expect him to be all loving. Like, the most thing he did was he said, well, I guess that's why you survived. Like, he acknowledged her and then just kept it moving. I did like the Gendry and the Arya reunion because it kind of, you could tell she had some type of feelings for this boy, obviously. And the little moment when he called her his lady, she was like flirting with him, which was interesting to see Sansa, I mean, not Sansa, but Arya flirting, first off. So that's why I don't know about the whole Sansa and Gendry on the show based off of what they seem to be trying to do with Gendry and Arya on the show. Not saying it's going to happen, but it seems like they're pushing that angle more than Sansa and Gendry. But overall, like the I wish we got the Hound and Sansa reunion because I was actually really looking forward to that. And then also when we were talking about the dragons, that's what I hated about this episode. I hated that whole dragon, ride the dragon, train your dragon scene. First of all, even Danny wasn't that damn goofy riding the dragon. Like, come on, John, you literally died and came back to life. Are you really going to be that goofy? And then I didn't like the fact that she was willing to just let him ride her dragon just because they seem to have a moment, because Tyrion also had a moment with the dragons, but I'm not going to let him ride the dragon either. So I thought that was kind of weird that she doesn't think he's a Targaryen yet. I'm going to say ride my dragon. Like, that doesn't make sense. And we know that they bond, but I'm trying to think of it only on the show level and not the book level. And in the show, I don't know if they said only Targs can ride dragons in the show, but we all know that's the case. So it seemed weird that she was willing for someone who she doesn't know is a Targaryen to ride her dragons.
Definitely some good thoughts there. My only last feedback on that, and then I'm sure Tony will have lots of stuff to say on Winterfell scenes, is that I'm thinking maybe because there's a worry that if Jon suddenly jumps on a dragon towards the end of the season, people will go, well, how is he able to ride a dragon so easily and act as a dragon rider just like that? It'd be kind of strange. So maybe the show creators in their minds, they were like, well, we have to give a setup to him learning how to ride a dragon, and this is the perfect setup. Only thoughts on that matter.
You know, when you deal with this whole situation, the Winterfell, the episode, the whole episode is exactly what I said. And this scenes are the same things. A 40-degree goddamn day. When you it's just so rushed. It's like when you're with your woman and you've been with her for a long time, and you know you're doing your thing and she's used to it already, and she says, are you finished yet? And then if you ain't, she makes a couple of noises, and then when you finish, she's like, all right, bye, and then goes to bed. That's what this episode was. It was just rushed. It was done. You know, everything was done, rushed. The Jon Snow on the dragon thing, rushed. How is this guy just jump on this damn dragon's back and don't fall the fuck off? I mean, you would think that it would take some type of skill to get on this dragon's back. I can't jump on an airplane and fly that motherfucker. I can't jump on a hang glider and just fly it. But this dude, all of a sudden, just because he had sex with Dany, she's just so willing to let this man just jump on the dragon's back. It hasn't been established how hard it is to ride a dragon or anything. This guy just gets up there and just does it. This is dumb. I don't know why they did that. They should have had the dragon. At least they should have had in the earlier season, Dario go by the dragon and try to get snapped or something like that. They should have done something like that to set you up, to let you know how hard it is for this guy to get out there and ride this dragon. So I just thought that was just, you know, you could put How to Train the Dragon, you could play that music while they're flying around, and then Jon Snow's a one-note dude. He brings this chick back to almost the same exact place Ygritte got. Now listen, I got a favorite restaurant, but I don't bring every chick I date to this restaurant. I got other spots, man. You know, I do different things. Jon Snow's a one-note dude. We probably do the same techniques he did on Ygritte. I thought that was corny. The fact that they brought him to a cave and outside of a cave, and it wants you to think of Ygritte and Jon. You know, I didn't like that. You know, I didn't like that whatsoever. It's like the Solo movie when they brought in Emilia Clarke and they made her look like Princess Leia for a young Han Solo. You know, it's Han Solo. Everyone, the chick he ever dated looked like Princess Leia. No, they shouldn't have done that. You should have had a different looking type chick, and they should have had him do something different here. But instead, they had him do the exact same. It's like they have no ideas. They're like, oh, what should we do to make Daenerys and Jon Snow together, make people like it? Oh, we'll put them by a cave or remind them of Ygritte. That's what it seems like they did to me there. So I did not enjoy that whatsoever at all. Now, when dealing with Arya, I love Arya. She's the only favorite character I got left. So I love everything about Arya. The Arya Gendry situation, I understand what T's saying, but if you could just look at the age there's no way that's going down. I mean, we've seen a lot of stuff go down with sexual, but they ain't going to let that go down. I mean, I know they do, the brothers and all the aunts and everyone else sleep with each other, but it's just too big of an age gap when you see them together. There's no way I could see them ever getting together, just for that reason alone at all. But I thought that out of all reunions, that one and the Hound seemed the realest. You know, the Hound reunion, that seemed like what the Hound would do if he met Arya. That seemed real. That seemed bookish to me. You know, it seemed like, you know, everything else seemed like fluff. You know what I mean? Like marshmallow fluff. And marshmallow fluff is good on certain things and certain body parts. But I'm saying I didn't need it at this particular time. And if you have to fluff me, then that means that you're not doing a good job with the episode. So that's where I really see that situation with the Winterfell stuff that you brought up, Charlie. That's the way that Don sees it. Real quick, we do have a super chat here, and it is from Vanessa Lay. Welcome back, Small Council. Love y'all. We love you too, and we're happy to be back. And I'm happy to be back with them too. Take it away, Charlie.
I don't know if you guys have anything else to add on the Winterfell scenes. It was the brunt of the episode.
I have to add to what Tony just said. So, girls, if Tony takes you to McDonald's or KFC, you know where you're standing.
Listen, if I go take you KFC, then you're a KFC chick, right? If I feel like that I can take you to KFC and get away with it, then exactly. You know, that's it. But you know, the Don would never do that. The Don would never take a chick to KFC or anything like that. You know, not unless we have already been established and we've been together for a while or something like that. Then we can go anywhere. But first couple of times, no. John just hooked up with this chick in the boat and is going to take it to the same spot that looks exactly like Ygritte's spot. Come on, they could have did something better. And I said before there was a possibility of them having sex on Dragon Back. I really thought it was going to come. I really thought it was coming. I thought they were going to start making out on the Dragon Back. I really thought just like Ygritte and him get on top of the wall and start making out. You know, listen, you almost died climbing up that wall. You ain't the first thing you're gonna do is start making out. I'm catching my breath. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe we made it. Let's get down for it. No, they gotta have a big kissy kiss scene. It's the same type of situation like that. This is Game of Thrones, not Young and the Restless. It's not Dave of Our Life. I don't see John Black coming out there. I don't see Bo and Hope. I don't want to see Bo and Hope. I want to see Game of Thrones. If y'all watch Days of Our Lives, you know what I'm talking about. How many people watch Days of Our Lives in the chat? Let me know.
Don't think they have it out in Europe. They watch like Coronation Street or EastEnders, I bet. Moving things along, if you guys are good with that, though. If you guys have nothing else to add about date spots and whatnot, we can go on to events at Last Hearth. And obviously, if we have any...
Wait, Charlie, we're not going to talk about Sansa and them at Winterfell, or...
Good call. Did you want to talk about that specifically?
Yeah, actually, okay. Y'all Sansa haters are not gonna like me right now. I'm just gonna give you the warning right now, and it's still all love. But I love Sansa in this episode. I like the fact that she was not scared that Dany had dragons. I'm glad that she stepped up. You could tell that she is this season is fighting for the North. Any other season, I get it. You can say, oh well, Sansa, she really just for self and she this and she that, but she was on point with everything that happened. She was on point with Tyrion, talking about I thought she was the most cleverest man in the world, and that was disappointing. I like that she stood up to, like I said, with Dany. And Dany, oh, I could not stand her this episode. I'm sorry, Charlie. I'm about to hurt your feelings. I'm so sorry. I could not stand Dany. Even when they were walking, they would come into Winterfell, and you saw how everybody was just staring at it because they ain't never seen a dragon queen come in. And you know, anytime someone from down south comes up to the north, it's never good for them. And she was just looking. She was so happy when the dragon came and people were scared. I'm not for her at all. And also, people always, I've been hearing this argument since this whole week, this episode, is that, well, Dany should just take her dragons and go since they're not appreciating her. No, she can't do that, because if she leaves, that whole issue becomes her issue later down the line. So that's BS saying that she has to ignore and she could just move her dragons and keep it moving. She needs the North just as much as the North needs her, just like John said. And then she also made a good point about how did John really bend the knee because he had to, or because he loved her? Because last season she was willing to help them out without them bending the knee, and even question John, why do you think they'll like accept me and all this other stuff? So I don't know how y'all feel about Sansa and everything, but I was all for it. I love the little attitude, her not backing out. You got to understand, this is someone coming into her house thinking she just going to take over. She doesn't know the North at all. So, and Dany, I'm sorry, she's not a good ruler either. She's just showing she can conquer things, but when it comes down to actually ruling and governing, she had issues in Marine. She had issues all over Essos, to the point where Tyrion was trying to help her, and they almost went to war. They did go to war with her, but then she killed them with the dragons. She's completely different when she came to Westeros. I know I'm talking too much, but I had to let that out.
You're not talking too much, and you just keep spitting that. Sansa is set up to be the queen of Westeros. I don't know. If you can't see it, you're just hating on Sansa, because you can definitely see that. As you know, the other season, she said that she was going to be a boss ass bitch. She is definitely the boss ass bitch this season. There's no doubt about it. Sansa Stark took control. She is definitely a better governor. She definitely knows how to rule people more than Dany. Dany has done nothing to prove that she can rule people. Every time she has done it, she has failed. If you go back to the slave master situation, when she murdered all the slave masters, she got flack from that. She's never done a good job in that at all. And even her conquering ability, to me, is suspect. I mean, she's lost every battle she's basically been in when she's gotten to Westeros. So, you know, if you took the dragons away from Dany, what would you really have from her? What would she really be? Sansa has no dragons, no nothing, and you still see she still gets the respect. Would Dany get that same amount of respect if she did not have those dragons? The Don says no. So that's why I think that Sansa Stark is no doubt better than Dany. And all you people out there, I know Timo, you sexy ass woman, you hate Sansa, it's fine. It's okay. But I'm saying, y'all all gonna have to bend the knee to Sansa when she's sitting at that throne when it's all said and done.
Nico, do you want to chime in before I give my thoughts?
Yeah. As you all know, my thoughts on Sansa, I don't like the character in the books or in the show, or the actress or anything. I don't think is interesting, because to me, yes, the ruling, whatever, but she sounds like she got some power now she's going to be bitch to everyone. It's the delivery of her that bothers me, as usual. I know that Madonna would cut my throat if she was here, and I miss having her on the panel, but I don't care for Sansa. It's just that I really don't care. I agree with Tony and with T that yes, she is down to rule. Like she's gonna be the queen of Winterfell for sure. But other than that, I mean, fine. But I don't care. sorry guys, and sorry for you guys in the chat for saying this, but this is how I feel.
Well, I guess I'll talk mostly about the Sansa thing first. I don't know if she's going to become queen of Westeros, but I definitely think she's going to end up in a leadership position. That seems pretty much set up from the whole series. In terms of what T introduced in terms of Sansa's approach when Dany arrived, I think it actually creates a nice contrast between season 1 Sansa and season 8 Sansa. And I mentioned this in my own review. When we have Sansa meeting Cersei in the first season, you know, Cersei compliments Sansa's beauty, and Sansa kind of just eats it all up. She loves it. She wants to be Team Cersei, if you will. Well, this time when you have Dany arrive in a very similar way, you know, the Queen of Westeros comes marching into Winterfell, And whereas in season 1, Sansa was a lot more eager and excited, this time she's really, really wary. And even when she greets Dany, the first thing she says is, "Oh, you're so lovely," or "You're very beautiful." And Sansa just doesn't take it in. She just says, she creates that wall there. And I think that's very much built up on her previous interactions with another queen, with Cersei, of course. And it's funny, even the hairstyles were kind of similar between season 1 Cersei and season 8 Dany. They had that weird curled up, not Princess Leia look, but that like the braids all done up, and that I think that was also created intentionally to create that weird parallel between Dany and Cersei. And in terms of just Dany in general, I'm not gonna get too much into the whole bad ruler, good ruler thing, but I do think her whole story arc is meant to make us think. I think we're constantly supposed to be questioning whether she's a good ruler, whether she's a bad ruler, what her motives are, what her intentions are. I think that's kind of the intention behind the character, is to always have us wondering, will she be a good ruler? Is she mad with power? Is she sane? Is she not sane? She definitely is. Personally, I think she's a great conqueror, and I think that was kind of the purpose of her character in the series. It was kind of meant to be a parallel to Aegon the Conqueror when he first arrived in Westeros. And of course, Aegon didn't win all of his battles either, but that's another story. But with Dany, I think we're supposed to wonder what she's going to do until the very end. And I think, my hope at least, is whatever the end game is for her, whether she lives or dies, I hope she ends on a positive note, in the sense that I think if she discovers, for example, that she should discover that Jon is a Targaryen, in fact, who has a precedent over her in terms of claiming the throne. My hope is that either she'll willingly let him rule, because she'll see that he is a much better ruler than her, most likely, which is kind of what we've been set up to believe this whole time. Or at least, she dies in
it up to him already, but I don't think she's going to willingly give it up to him when it comes to the throne.
Yeah, slightly different giving it up, but you know what I mean. Or at least if she does perish or die, she ends on a note where she kind of gives her blessing or something of that matter. Long story short, I think her story is meant to kind of make us question her the entire time through, and that's pretty much my thoughts on that scene.
Let me say real quick about this goddamn creepy. No, go ahead, T.
I'm sorry, because I know you're about to go off. The only thing about Sansa, when Dany was saying, oh, you're so beautiful and all of this, you have to remember that the North is watching Sansa. And remember when Sansa and Davos and Jon, they went to Lyanna Mormont, and she tried to give her those sweet gestures, and she was like, nah, we're not having it. Sansa did the exact same thing. She was just like, bottom line, when is yours, your grace, and kept it moving. Go ahead. Now you can.
Yeah, I'm going to switch off that to this damn Bran stuff. This mug, son, where he just for someone in the wheelchair, how does he just pop out of people's shoulders? You turn he's like Jason. It's like you turn your head and he's just there. He's so goddamn creepy. I mean, how long was he waiting for Jaime Lannister out? Does the cold not affect Bran Stark at all? I mean, this seems that Bran Stark is the creepiest little motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. He's just there. You turn your back. I got nervous when I went to bed because I thought Bran was going to be next to me staring at me in the bed that night, because that's how that dude does. He just pops up. I don't understand how Bran Stark gets these legs. I'm going to talk about that Sam Charlie. We're talking about that. The whole Sam Charlie, as Nico said, reveal to Jon was just really weak. I mean, I just didn't. I would have just wanted to be a little bit better when it came out, but it just seemed like it. It's rushed. Everything just seems rushed. The actors seem rushed. Everyone seems rushed. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the way they did it. And it's just like, it seemed Jon was pretty accepting of it. I thought it would play out differently when it all was all said and done. I didn't like the way that went down. And to me, Emilia Clarke, I don't know if she lost some weight or something, but she doesn't look the same to me. She just doesn't look the same. That's just me as a man looking at her. She doesn't look the same as she looked in the other season. I don't know what it is, but something's going on there. Something's different.
I forgot all about Bran. Bran was my favorite part of this whole episode. I love him. Yes, you're not gonna come for Bran. I love Bran. I love the fact that he creeped out Jaime, Tyrion, Dany. My favorite line was, "We don't have time for this shit. The Night King has your babies. The wall is gone, and the dead are coming." I love Bran. I love every part of this. I like the fact that he's creepy. I mean, y'all pushed him out the fucking window. So yeah, if I'm in a wheelchair and ain't nobody looking after me, I'm gonna creep everyone out. I'm gonna look at you until you realize someone needs to roll my ass back into the castle. I loved it.
He reminded me of Little
You're a
from
terrible
Tokyo
person.
Better. He was like Little Feet. He was just all over the place.
I loved it. I loved it. And the fact that he was just giving people this eye contact and making them look scared, like he was making grown men scared. And then the part with John, I mean, if someone says, "Oh, you look you're now a man," and he says kinda, I don't know how you take that. You just go, "Okay." Like, what?
It's like you're almost a man, kinda. Okay. You know, this is Brad. He's like the backhanded compliment guy. Like I have a friend like that who's he's the master of the backhanded compliment. Like he'll say to the person like, "Oh, you know, you're the best drummer I've ever heard. I haven't heard that many." You know, shit like that. That's the way Brand is this season. It's the backhanded. He gives you a compliment, smacks you with it. You know, I don't know about Brand. I don't know.
Tony, how can you defend Sansa and do this to Bran? Because that's what I don't understand. Sansa is just being bitchy. Like, girl, if you want to rule, then you have to know, like, you have to have a poise and you know how to talk to people, not just being straight bitch for no, just to like people will like you more in that sense. Whereas Bran is just staring there. He has. I think they're trying to emulate or to show everyone that he has this knowledge, and with knowledge comes it's a burden in a way. So that's why he's so still and basically at this point just trying to figure out how to deal with this. I like it, and I agree with T. He has a lot of things on his mind because he knows a lot.
You know,
And in that sense.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, girl.
No. That's all I wanted to say. Basically, I
When
don't
I
like to
deal
talk
with
too much.
Sansa and Dany, Sansa has been through so much more than Dany. You know, she has been through the ringer. And Dany, you know, the worst thing that happened to Dany was the Dothraki captured her and smacked in the ass a couple of times. They ain't rape her. They ain't do anything to her. Sansa has been through it. So she's just battle tested. And you know, listen, tall girls get a bad rap. You know what I mean? Because you know, and she's got that height. You got that height. These tall
Dany
girls.
was raped. Dany
Yeah.
was raped at the beginning by Count Rogal.
Oh, no,
Like
in the show,
yeah. She was absolutely she was raped.
In
It was
the show,
explicitly
they
stated.
did rape her, but
in the
in the
show it
book,
looks
she
like a
was
rape.
not raped. Yeah.
In the show, it looked like a rape. There's no doubt. But in the book, she's definitely not raped. Sansa, you know, who you rather get raped by? That's terrible. That's terrible. I take that back. No one wants to get raped by anyone. But if you had the chance to be with Khal Drogo or Ramsay Bolton, I think most people gonna take the Khal Drogo situation.
Khal
You know what I mean?
Drogo
Over
all
that.
day. Khal Drogo all day.
My boyfriend is sitting here, so I'm not gonna say anything.
But you know,
Just
you
wink.
can't compare Jason Momoa to this little Ramsey dude who's you know Sansa. He came up to Sansa's navel. You know what I mean? And I met the man in Crown of Thrones. He's just as small in real life, just a tiny little man. Tiny little man, you know. So, you know, I think that when it comes down to it, Sansa has been through so much. She's battle tested. Dany, I said the worst thing that happened to her, she's got captured. She got smacked in the ass by a couple of times, but nothing really too bad has happened to her. Not like Sansa. And I think that tall women get a bad rap all the time because they just automatically women are just intimidated with them with their height. Men are intimidated by tall women. You know, they don't want to date tall women. Women that are taller than them. Tall women get bad rap. I got love for my tall women out there because we all the same size when we laying down.
Fair enough. Anything to add to this discussion, folks? By folks, I mean ladies.
No, that's it. I just wanted to give Sansa her props. Like, she could be bitchy, but she gets shit done because she also got all those northern people who were not feeling John still to come down to Winterfell, except for Glover.
Actually, I had one question before we move on to the next scene, and it kind of ties in well to the next scene, unless you folks have anything you want to add first.
I don't think there's anything else happening in Winterfell that I'm missing. The Sam finding out about Dany killing his father. situation. You know, I respect the fact that she came out and it just came right out with it and everything else. And you know, I don't know. I didn't really like it. I know how it would play. But you know, I'm not gonna say I disliked it, but you know, I just thought it would play a little bit differently and stuff than it did.
I actually did like that scene. Just the subtle. I mean, I think he shouldn't have cried that much that his father died just because of all the things that happened. But I do like the difference where he was almost breaking down when he found out that his brother actually died as well. It just goes to show you once again, Danny's not a good ruler because of the things and how she goes about them. She's actually acting like her father.
Wait a second, Lana. I am not short. I'm 5'10" and a half. So if you consider that short, then that's short. But I'm 5'10" and a half, girl. I ain't short.
In terms of that scene between Danny and Sam, maybe I'm just defending her. I did get a sense of remorse on her side of things, in the sense that you could tell instinctively I feel like she felt bad for doing that to someone like Sam, because Sam wasn't the person to blame. So in the sense that she hurt someone else through her actions, I would say there's a certain remorse there, but at the same time, in her mind, she was punishing people who are breaking the law or are disobeying her. And even when it comes to season 1, episode 1 with Ned Stark, he executed a deserter of the Night's Watch, despite the fact that it was a White Walker that chased him more or less out of the far north. But we can debate about that all day if you guys want. Any other thoughts on that scene? I have a thought on Umber, the Umber boy in Winterfell, but
the Umber boy was just bending the knee to them real quick.
Yeah,
go right ahead, because that was a fast scene.
Well, before we even get to that scene, my slight problem with the scene at Winterfell with him is that Sansa basically said, "Oh," because he mentioned he was having his people were having trouble getting south, and she basically said, "Oh, here, take some carts and go north and get them down here." The thing is that just the scene before, she's informed that the White Walkers have breached the wall. Last Hearth is the closest keep to the wall, so in my mind, it kind of seems weird that you would send this kid up north to basically get killed, in my mind. So in that sense, it kind of felt like a weird setup. I realized they wanted to play up, the discovery of Ned Umber's body on the wall with the motif. It just felt like something. It felt kind of weird for Sansa to encourage him to go north and basically end up being killed. In my mind, it seemed like an obvious thing that would happen, but I don't know what you guys think.
Sarah Charles was in the chat. I didn't see you in a long time, Sarah Charles. Thank you for being up in this chat, Sarah Charles. Don't contact me no more, Sarah. But whatever. The Ned Umber situation, your little boy, she didn't care about that boy anyway. She didn't even want to give him any lands when it was all said and done. That was all John's doing. She was ready to strip him of everything and take everything from them. So she didn't care what happened to him.
I think that it shows that maybe the Umber kid didn't have as much what's the right word? He doesn't have as much authority, even though he has the title. They might just view him as a kid and they wasn't going to go, because it doesn't make sense that she sent all the ravens for everyone to come, but they didn't. That was it.
I agree with Charlie that they should have. Well, the point was to see them killed and to remind people of the artwork of the others. Oh, what do they call them? White Walkers. So why would she send them? I mean, the point is, like, I mean, I'm not a battle strategist at all, absolutely, but in order to, like, you need to regroup, so you center all the people at one place, right? And then decide. You don't scatter people around, especially when the army is coming. So maybe to get the resources, but what kind of fucking resources they have in the middle of winter and the north? So yeah, to me it seemed really complicated. And I will just add one more thing. I could be not bothered with Sansa if she would just drop the bitchiness. If you just rule and then be a fine girl, no one wants to work with people like that. I mean, I have few people that I work with that are like this, and so yeah.
But you could also say that Danny's being bitchy too. So
Oh, I
I don't.
never defended Danny.
No,
No,
no, I'm
Danny
not
is
saying
also,
you.
yeah.
I'm just saying in general, Danny is also bitchy too, because in that scene, she was like, what do I get Sansa was being shady, but it was a legit question. She was like, whatever they want. Like, you can't just come up into someone's house and just be bitchy like that. So I say for both of them.
Yeah, but if you have 3 dragons, then you don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but that's also her issue, is that people aren't going to want to follow her if all you can do is just threaten me with dragons. Like in Essos, she had her dragons and everything, but she gave people options. She's just like, you either going to be on bend the knee or I'm going to kill you. What
Yeah,
type
because
of
she
love
learned. She
did
learned
she?
that. Yeah, I mean, in the
I mean,
sense
she
you
didn't.
have to.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I keep muting and
Oh,
unmuting myself. I meant that what did she learn from, like, she gave people options and then people start misbehaving. So I think in that sense that she, in her mind, she's correct to just say, I'm here and bend the knee. And if not, you're going to get burned. That's it.
but that. Oh, go ahead, Charlie. My bad.
If you don't mind, I just want to remind you guys that there was the White Walkers coming north, and I think Danny's well aware of them, having witnessed them. I think there's bigger issues in her mind, at least, if I can try to put myself in her place. The fact that there's White Walkers coming, they have to ready themselves for that onslaught, and dragons are necessary for it. Just my thoughts.
White Walkers. The White Walkers don't even seem like they're a threat to me. I want to see how they win this battle of Winterfell, the White Walkers, because I really don't see how they should win this battle. To me, the White Walkers are whack. When I look at them, it's got to be some catch that I'm not getting, because when I look at the Night's King, the way I see it is that, number one, he can't use the dragon on anyone in Winterfell because he can't burn you, because he can't raise you from the dead if he burns you. So that nullifies his dragon attack. When I see a bunch of people that can't shoot arrows and they just come straight at you, and you have artillery that you could shoot over the top, I don't care how many people you have. Eventually, artillery, you're going to win. So to me, I got to see something. There's got to be something I'm not seeing, but straight head up assault, like a chess game, just a straight assault on the Winterfell. I don't see how the one else I'm not seeing, because I just don't see it.
One sec. Yeah, I do agree with you, Tony. I think they're going to surprise us next, not next episode, but maybe episode 3 when it comes to the Battle of Winterfell. There's going to be something that's going to upset the battle in favor of the White Walkers. I just don't think we know what that is yet, because so far, like you're kind of pointing out, the humans are very confident in victory, and they're already talking about what happens after they win. I don't know if you ladies have any thoughts to add to that before we go to Last Hearth. Alrighty, I guess we can go to events at Last Hearth. So, at Last Hearth, Tormund, Beric, and Dondarrion have survived the fall of Eastwatch, lead their party into House Umber's seat of Last Hearth, already sacked by the dead. There they encounter Dolorous Ed? Anyway, they encounter Ed, who has evacuated the Night's Watch from Castle Black. They also find young Lord Ned Umber, who has been evacuating Last Hearth's inhabitants, dead and nailed to a wall surrounded by a spiral of 7 limbs. Tormund declares that they must reach Winterfell before the Night King. Ned reanimates as a white, and Beric burns him on the spiral with his flaming sword. So I don't know if you guys want to talk about the spiral first. I do have some things to say on that, and I'm sure you guys will have a lot of thoughts on that, I expect. But if I can at least introduce the debate, there has been a lot of questions as to what that White Walker symbol they keep carving is. I've heard many people say that it looks like the Targaryen sigil and is sort of meant to represent their loathing or desire to kill Jon and Dany. In a weird way, it kind of would help one of my earlier theories, but I made a couple of backs concerning the Valyrians and White Walkers. However, I am a little hesitant to say that the White Walker art is the Targaryen sigil. I also read an article about which talks about the White Walker circles that they kind of draw with dead bodies, and it's apparently supposed to be a sort of perversion of the symbol of the Children of the Forest draw around their werewoods, kind of like the one we see during the creation of the Night's King. Actually, I have a quote from Dave Hill, the writer of the Winterfell episode. He said in the New York Post that, and this is a direct quote, he says, "As we saw with Bran and the Three-Eyed Raven, the spiral pattern was sacred to the Children of the Forest, who created the Night's King by sacrificing a captured man in a spiral henge of stones. The Night King then adopted the symbol as a sort of blasphemy, like Satan with the upside-down cross," end quote. Now, just because he says that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't a deeper meaning to those symbols. So I'm kind of curious to hear what you guys think on the matter. Last thought about from my end on the last Hearth episode was that it was beautifully horrifying. It really felt like part of a horror movie, especially when the undead Ned Umber just comes to life at the end. I thought it was awesome, really well done. So those were my thoughts on the matter. On to you guys.
I enjoyed the last bit. On one hand, I wish I would have got action, like seeing the Night King in action when he took over last Hearth, but that whole horror scene, it was good. And it reminds you, of course, the first episode when we were introduced to the Night Walker. As far as like the spiral, the only thing I can say is that to me, it seems like that's him saying that the real North remembers, because he's always putting this spiral symbol, almost as if he's trying to remind them, like, this happened to me, like this means something. So the how can I put this? I thought it was interesting that this time it was set on fire, which I don't know, it could be a message to Dany herself, because it did look like the Targaryen sigil, but in my opinion, it's just that's them saying the North remembers.
May I jump in?
Jump.
Oh, okay. To me, this spiral thing, as we also saw with the Children of the Forest, but especially with the others, is that it's more cosmic than I don't know which other word to use, but it's really cosmic. And I don't talk about the spiral galaxies or something, but it's really more, it ties into the story that we don't know much about them, and it's more like Lovecraftian cosmic horror, where it's so horrifying because you don't know anything about it. In that sense, it's a higher force, and in that sense, I don't think it has anything to do with Targaryen symbols or sigils. So in that sense, I think it's nice, and it, as Dee said, it ties with the first episode of the first season, right, where we had this, and it's just nice, and it was a bit terrifying, of course, with all the comic relief with Tormund and who was there, Dolores said, and but other than that, I see no connection to Targaryens. It's really more cosmic and otherworldly or out there, unexplainable in that sense. So that's it for me.
I think that I just made a video a little couple of days ago. It's doing very well. And there's no doubt in my mind that this is a Targaryen symbol. When you look at the body parts, they were dripping blood, and then they were set on fire. Fire and blood is what the Targaryens are known for. When you look at the other symbol, we've seen the same symbol shape when the Dothraki captured Daenerys and they rode around her. They did the exact same symbol shape around her. When you see the White Walker being put on the tree, they have the same shape right there. I'm going telling you, if you can watch that video, if you can watch the video, it's doing well. I'm putting out part 2 of that video as soon as I'm done with this stream. But I'm telling you, it's definitely a Targaryen symbol. And I believe that it is Brendan Bloodraven Rivers is the Night's King. And he is the one that is putting out these symbols out there. And that is the reason why it's going down. Trust me, with the dime, quote the dime, we pull the strings. When it's all said and done, I'm not going to go and break down the whole video for you. You can just go watch it and you can understand exactly why I see it. But I think it's fairly obvious. There's no reason to set that thing on fire, have a dripping blood first, and then set it on fire. If you don't see a Targaryen symbol in there, I don't even know what you're looking at. It's the exact same symbol just about that they have. I do believe that the Targaryens got it from the Children of the Forest, because when they went to Dragonstone, those shapes are already there. Aegon the Conqueror needed a sigil when he came to Westeros because he didn't have one, and they designed one. Even if you look at the sigil that George R. R. Martin first came up with for them, it's the exact same shape of this one too. So either way, it works. It works for me like that. It's definitely a Targaryen symbol to me, and I think that's what they're trying to display, that this Night King is part Targaryen and part Northman because he's Brendan Rivers. So that's what it means to me. Alan Carstairs, he asks, what's your thoughts on Jaime dying in the crypts of Winterfell, just like his green dream in the Storm of Swords? Is the Night's King of Stark? No, he's not a Stark. The Night's King is Brendan Rivers. Without a doubt, he has Northern blood and Targaryen blood, just like Jon Snow, the hero that has to defeat him, has the exact same bloodline, Northern blood and Targaryen blood. That's my take on it. But just watch my video, Alan. Doing really well. So watch it. Watch part 2 as soon as I'm done dropping this one after this live stream.
And I hope Jamie dies in Winterfell. So,
but he's gonna die in the crypts of Winterfell, just like the dream. I mean, it looks like he I don't know if he died. His sword, his light in the sword does go out. Does it go out all the way? His light in the sword in that dream? I think it does. I know it gets darker right now. I'm trying to think if it does those goes down. But if it does go out, then Jamie will die there. I don't know if it's in the crypts there. I think Jamie has to save Jon Snow when it's all said and done. I think Jamie Lannister is going to stab the Night King in the back. That's what he's known for, stabbing kings in the back. And I think he's going to stab the Night's King in the back when it's all said and done. Hold on.
No, I'm sorry. I got to disagree with Tony. Because I'm only going off a show. Jamie can't fight, so I don't see him winning or surviving Winterfell. But if he does, I'm under the impression that he's most likely going to die saving Bran than Jon. But I just can't see him surviving Winterfell. If he survives Winterfell, then Jamie's just going to live to the end. And now I'm going to be disappointed in that.
He is going to survive.
He can't fight. Like, how is he surviving all of this and he can't?
My God, Sansa never could fight.
But Sansa's not going to be fighting.
Well, he neither. He needs to kill Cersei. He needs to go back to the King's Landing.
I'm just saying, how is a person with one hand who can't fight, who's shown this several times he can't fight, surprisingly is going to be able to backstab the Night King, still fight in the Winterfell, and then go back to kill his sister? Like, then he's Superman at this point.
He is of Jamie fucking Lannister. Come on.
I get it, but I'm just over Jamie. Jamie should have died when he tried to stab a dragon. It's like stupid.
No.
Real quick, people in there, I'm putting out the video. There's a lot of questions that people ask me in the comment section of how Brendan Rivers is exactly the Night's King. The timelines don't match up. I explain all those questions that you're putting in the comment section in the new video that I'm putting out. I'm putting the video out as soon as the live stream is over. So I'm not going to answer them now, but I have answers for all that, and I explain all those questions that were put in there. So I will just watch that video when it's all said and done. As for Jamie Lannister, the only way Jamie Lannister survives in the end is if he takes the black and joins the war and becomes a member of the Night's Watch when it's all said and done. Besides that, Jamie Lannister has too much blood on his hand really to survive. I don't know how he's going to make it. It's like Tyrion Lannister, so I just don't know if he's going to get that done. Jamie Lannister has more blood in his hands than anybody. So I just don't see how he makes it out of this and stuff. I really don't. It's hard for me to see this man surviving at all. I just think he's going to do something to save somebody else and then go and then die.
I will say, Tony, Pronica, I don't know if you remember, one of my friends, she said she came across your video about your recent prediction or theory, and she said it was really interesting, and she told me to recommend or me to check it out. And she came upon it like just by chance. So I definitely will give it a look because you got me interested now.
I appreciate it. Tell Pronica I said hello.
Yeah. I'll be sure to forward the message. And obviously I'll check out the one you post after that. In terms of Jamie, though, I really don't think he's going to be killed off at Winterfell, whether he fights or not. I think he still has a role to play. I don't think he'll be killing any Night's King personally, but that's just my hunch. And like Tony says,
kill him. I just think he's going to stab him in the back and injure him so Jon Snow can get the finishing blow, just like Howland Reed did for Ned Stark when he fought throughout the Dane.
Gotcha. Well, it's a possibility, I guess. I think his role is more in line with what's going to happen to Cersei, but that's just my hunch on the matter. Did you guys have any more thoughts for last Hearth?
Honestly, last Hearth. Anything else that I know? T's man. I can't say anything bad about him right now because he didn't do anything bad, So
watch it. I already know they've been trying to kill him off for a few seasons now, and so I was nervous in that scene. He's going to open his eyes. Why is your back towards a dead body? But never mind.
I really thought that he would die, but I'm still thinking that he may have to survive just for the fact that there's no other wildling representation that we know of. That may get him through this whole thing. You know what I mean? Him, his big ass red beard. It may get him there. You know,
I
because
hope so.
it may, because I don't think we have any other representation for the wildlings. Who are they going to say anything about the wildlings if it's not him? You know, if we had another person that represented the wildlings, then I could say possibly he could die. But the fact that they tried to kill him off so many times and he's survived, I just don't know if he's going to die. Bran, I think, on the other hand, has got to go.
Yeah,
Bron's going up. Yeah. He's out of here.
But I'm with Tormund living, so I'm gonna have to agree with you on this.
Well, since we're talking about who lives and who dies, should we go into predictions for next episode, or?
Oh, next episode, y'all. If y'all the fan of Teflon TV, and hopefully y'all, because you're on my channel right now, you know who came up with the theory, and you could check the date that Jaime Lannister would be put on trial when he hit Winterfell. And lo and behold, everyone laughed at me when I put that video out. But lo and behold, it seems that prediction, that theory for the Don is true, just like the rest of them. Jaime Lannister put on trial in Winterfell, and I think how it's gonna. I don't think that he's gonna get off a trial. I just think the White Walkers are gonna show up during the trial, and I think that's why it's going to end, and it's gonna have no choice but to let him go. Because it seems like if Sansa and Dany can get behind one thing, it seems like their hatred for Jaime Lannister is something they can get behind.
That's for damn sure, and I think it looks like they're going to be having some discussions next episode between the two of them. My hopes is that they'll be able to patch up their differences personally. Dany and Sansa, that is.
I think their hate for Cersei might bond them together more than Jaime.
True.
But I do agree with Tony. I think that once that trial happens, it's going to get interrupted. So it might not even be a conclusion of the trial. Because either Tormund might come in with the information that the Night King is coming, or something happens. But I just think that it's going to get interrupted somehow.
But did you all is that in the pre trailer for the next episode? Because I did not watch that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Yeah, it was in a. Well, the trailer was just showing that Jaime was standing in front of everyone, so it looks like a trial. And then you see that Tormund and them make it to Winterfell, and then you see that they're preparing for the battle.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's definitely a trial because she's like, you know, what did she say, Dany? She's like, me and my brother used to tell me
dream about what we would do to the man that killed our father. But that's your girl though, so.
Yeah, so listen, you know, this is very contradictory of Dany's behalf because she just killed Sam's father, right? Mm-hmm. And she expects that to be all love. So you know, that's a little contradictory for Dany. You know, she sees things the way she wants to see them. It's kind of like what she said when she killed Sam's father. She's like, I'm not here to conquer and murder you all, but if you don't bend the knee, I'm gonna murder you.
That's exactly
the way Dany gets that.
Yeah, Dany's just irking my nerves this season. Like, I'm like, girl, you can go. Like, Westeros wasn't doing fine without you, but it's not like it's gonna get better with you here, really. Like, your dragons, of course, but other than that, sorry. I know you love her.
You're definitely doing Alicia Keyston on Johnny Be Crazy, or with Johnny Be Crazy when she's doing her thing with him. You know what I mean? So definitely.
Who deserved it? That's the series. Who deserved it?
What is this? Who deserved it?
Yeah, well, they give a list of who deserved it. Like, did Robert deserve to die? You know, stuff like that.
Who is this Johnny Be Crazy? Do I know this man?
You probably seen him around. But I don't know. I think I've seen him in the chats before. I'm not sure.
I'll check it out and see if I know this guy.
Okay.
No.
I don't know what I missed because I was gone there for a hot second.
We were just going on Dany.
Yeah, I caught that part.
Sorry, Charlie.
The second you left, we did on her.
I'll forgive you guys one day.
Oh, AU Packer say he's a friend of mine. If he's a friend of yours, he's a friend of mine. Are you saying that he's a friend of ours? He's a made man. Are you saying he's a friend of yours? That means he's just an associate like Johnny Brasco, you know. But if he's a friend of yours, that means he's a friend of mine. AU.
No, he's cool peoples. I just started seeing some of his stuff. But I've seen it through AK with the, who deserves it, and then I think he's on other people's streams and stuff like that.
Nah, if he's a friend of AU, he's a friend of mine. That's all it is.
Anything else, y'all? Y'all getting quiet on me.
Yeah. I think it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to take out my earphones and plug my phone in because it's dying. I hope you can hear me still.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Just making sure. Do you usually take questions after?
Yeah, we go take. If the people got questions in the chat right now, please, this is the time to put them in there. Put any questions you have for Charlie Westeros, T Baby, the person who's making a dark matter finder. Nico,
Yes.
I have questions about that. God damn it!
Right. That's interesting.
I have questions about the black hole that we finally got on tape.
Yes, that was beautiful. That was very good.
It was beautiful, was it not?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! You would just think some things you would never see in your lifetime, and then you start seeing them. It's just gorgeous. So I just like things like that, and that's what the world should be focusing on. Things like that. We do have a question here from OTDA. He says, "Who is gonna be the episode 2 death? What's the big death in episode 2?"
I wouldn't mind if it was Greyjoy. What's his name? Victorian? Euron? Which one is it in the show?
Euron.
Yeah, he can go.
He can't. I don't know if he'll die. I don't think anyone's going to die in episode 2. I think they're going to break your hearts in episode 3 because a lot of y'all think that most of your favorite characters are going to survive this fight, and I think they're going to break your heart. So I think it's like the calming before the storm.
Agreed with T.
Yeah, I think
next episode.
I think I need a death in every episode to make this a successful season. Someone's got to go, and that's the bottom line. I need someone to go straight up.
So who goes in episode 2?
I don't know, but someone's got to go. I need someone to go. I don't know who, but it's got to be someone. Every episode needs a death. I mean, I think they're gonna do a big wipe. They're gonna wipe the slate clean in episode 3. I think episode 2 may be lackluster if they don't kill anyone, because if they get to the point where they're just like, listen, we do this Jaime Lannister trial, we set this thing up, and then the White Walkers arrive, and then the episode ends because we know we're getting that battle in episode 3. That's whack to me. That's whack. You got to come up with. It's got to be something else in there to make me excited about the episode. I don't see the Jaime Lannister trial doesn't excite me. I mean, I could see that lasting for 15 minutes the most. The way they're doing it, like 5 minutes. That's it. Now what else do we have that they haven't shown? What else is it going to be? What can be going on in King's Landing that we haven't seen yet? What are they going to shock us with down there? I just don't know.
There's no people there. There's nothing there. That's why if Euron did not provide the fucking elephants, then what is it good for? Can somebody explain to me what is the point of Euron Greyjoy now when he did not deliver? I mean, maybe in bed, and she was not pleased. She did not care, really. So what?
That's exactly what I said. I told you she wasn't satisfied with that. I told you when you have to ask a chick how good was that, when you know it was whack.
First of all,
you did a bad job.
Every male that they shown have sex in this game, stroke game is just ridiculous, just trash. No one has good strokes in this season.
No. This guy that was Podrick, what? Everybody loves.
But we didn't get to see it. We didn't get to see it.
Listen, Podrick. The only thing Podrick did that was so fancy was he went down on a prostitute. Listen, because no one goes down on a prostitute. That's the only thing that I could see that he did to them girls to make them act so crazy, because he was the only one willing to put his mouth down there on a prostitute, and now he's yuck mouth to me. Yuck.
No, I think he's gifted.
He
No,
You're gonna
probably
say
is
that
gifted.
they said
gifted,
it. They
yeah.
said it. He wasn't well endowed. They said there's nothing special there.
No,
He
I think
probably
he's
know how to
gifted.
move. Yeah, I think something else happened besides,
He put his
giving him the Lord's kiss
He
down
did
there.
nothing. I'm telling you what he did. Prostitutes ain't used to people going down. No one's gonna do that in their right mind. Positive Kane,
What
he
Kyron tell Bron? He said, "Poor thing, she's probably going to die within a year of pox or something." So
Oh, that was really
He said, "What? Which one?"
oh.
That
Oh
was
God.
dark.
It was.
We got
It
super
was very
chat
dark.
from Castillo. Castillo, he says, "What are everyone's predictions for the third and final twist? Loving the streams. Thanks for taking the time to put the content on." So, what is the third twist that we see here that we're going to see? We have seen a lot of twists here. We've seen the Hodor, I think, is one twist. I think that the second twist is going to be what was Shireen Baratheon, right? So,
Yeah.
so what's the third twist?
Where is Melisandre?
I
She's
think she went to
the last.
Volantis. Yeah.
So that part of the story is not important anymore, right? Or she has to. Maybe she
She's
shows
gonna
up in
come back.
Winterfell. Yeah. She has to encounter Arya again, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what's implied anyway, that they'll meet again.
So maybe she's the twist in some sort. I don't know what she can do, but
I think the twist is going to be defeating the White Walkers because it's something that George R. R. Martin has himself to plan. So in my mind, it has to be something major like that.
I'm thinking that the big twist is going to deal with the Night King. I'm not sure exactly what it would be, but everything else would be something I think everyone was looking towards or kind of predicted.
yeah, for sure. Because I would like the twist to be their side of the story, because they should not be mute all the time. He should stand there and say his thing. We are attacking you because you're pieces of shit or whatever. I don't know. I don't like I don't know. I think your the mother was a hamster or something. I don't know, but some insult. He needs to explain himself, because otherwise it's just like they're like zombies running around.
I thought you was going to say whore, but you said hamster.
Yeah, I went Monty Python. I did not want to use the
Yeah.
word. Yeah.
I mean, I think the final twist, when it's all said and done, I mean, I don't know if the Brendan Rivers thing of a reveal will be that big of a twist. I think that when it's all said and done, it's just going to be Dany getting killed by Jon Snow to forge Lightbringer so he can kill the Night's King. Because I think that when he first fights the Night's King, I think that long claw is going to break and shatter. And then that's when they're going to come with the information that this is what's got to be done. Dany is going to be a willing sacrifice to him. I think it's going to be some type of situation where she like grabs him by the shoulders and pulls herself willingly into him, like kisses him at the same time or something like that, where she gives up herself, she sacrifices herself to forge that sword. And I think that's what happened.
Interesting. So she'll sacrifice her life, but not the kingdom?
Well, she's got to sacrifice herself. She hasn't done it yet. And John says, he goes, sometime people are going to see you for what I see you as. She's done everything else. She hasn't sacrificed anything else. And Sansa Baratheon realized that you had to sacrifice in order to win the kingdom, you had to save the realm. So I think it's a situation like that she's going to be willing to give up her life for the betterment of the realm, whether she gives birth to a baby first. And then, but I think that's the way it's got to go down.
It's interesting. Also, Kamikaze Cobra said, I think the big twist will be Dario, and he's going to be there to help Cersei or betray Dany, and he's also figure out a way to get the rest of the elephants. Well, there will be no elephants, absolutely. I mean, they told this.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, there was a budget cut. But Dario is also a wild card. I mean, he was the wild card from the beginning, so...
Yeah, Sarah Charles said
yeah.
she sacrificed the dragon. I think the dragon got killed. I don't think that can be considered a sacrifice.
Right.
The sacrifice is willingly giving something up and and doing it. So there's no willingness to that. I think
Yeah, she hasn't done that.
got.
Yeah, but I agree with Tony regarding Nisa, what's it called? So there might be.
I do like
Go ahead.
I do like Tony's theory on that. Not to say I'm not convinced or I am convinced, because I think it would be a cool ending for this series. I always kind of imagine the Misa story being actually Rhaegar and Lyanna's birth of Jon Snow as kind of like the Lightbringer metaphor. She gave birth, she died giving birth to Jon. That's kind of how I saw it, but if that's how it ends up being with Dany sacrificing herself, that's also very plausible, and I think it would make sense given her story arc so far for it to end that way. As far as Dario, I think he's kind of he's like his storyline is pretty much done for the show. I think what we saw them last in Marine was the last we were supposed to see them, and that's about it for him. My hunch, anyway.
We got a question here from Queen Cheryl Strader. She says, "Are the dragons not eating because Dany is pregnant, or they don't want to go north because they are sad about Viserion?"
I think they're sad that their dragon brother, sister, whatever you want to call it, died. But that also brings up a good point. How much do dragons eat if I think she said they ate like 11 sheep or lambs or something like that. And if that's not eaten, people in Winterfell are going to starve.
Yeah. Well, they can eat people, I mean.
They can.
Yep. There's always been a problem.
White Walkers. They can eat all the dead.
Could they eat White Walkers, though?
Why not? Well, because
it's dead and rotten, and they like fresh and pure burnt, right?
Well, in the battle for Marine, they're catapulting those corpses with the plague in them, and they're catching them in the sky and eating them, right?
Yep.
So if they're able to do that in the books, then they should be able to eat these corpses no problem.
I guess.
Yeah, I agree with Tony.
Because I thought the White Walkers are like made of pure ice, and it kind of seems to go against what their body composition would be. I don't know.
I have
Somebody was asking repeatedly what's with Edmure Tully. Which one is that? The sister of Catelyn Stark, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're locked up. Are they going to go back to the river? I almost said Rivendell.
River Run.
Lord of the Rings. I watched Lord of the Rings recently. Oh God. Yeah. Are we going to go there? I don't think he's going to. There's no time for that, right?
I don't think so either.
He's casted in this season, right? I think he's casted this season, so he's got to be shown this season somehow.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I
did not. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that makes sense. The Vale, also this little boy that's sick. What's his name from the crazy Caitlyn's sister?
Oh, Sweet Robin.
That's where they should be held up, not Winterfell. If I was holed up, I'm holding up in the Vale. You got the Bloody Gate, you got the narrow passageway they have to come through. That's the safest place to me. I would be in the Vale right there, waiting for them to come. Make them walk down that Bloody Gate and shoot them all right when they came down it, and just like bottleneck them right in there and just be done with it. That's what I would think. That's where they should be. So but while they're held up in Winterfell, I just think it's just because it's Winterfell, but I think the safest place is that. Besides that, I think the next safest place, if they still had walls, would be Harrenhal. Harrenhal is supposed to be impenetrable. Only by a dragon is supposed to be able to get through it. So if Harrenhal was rebuilt, they shouldn't be able to get through Harrenhal. As I said, I just don't see the threat of these White Walkers. Maybe if they raise the dead from the Winterfell crypts and they come from behind and do something like that, but this for them coming straight head on, I don't care how many numbers you got. If you have someone that can hold the line just for a little bit and you can just shoot over the top of them, you're gonna win. That's just the way it goes in any battle. That's how you win in any battle. Doesn't matter how many people. You could go through the history of wars and you see with the British longbowmen what they were able to accomplish back in medieval combat when they were shooting those longbows at people. They were murdering everyone just because of their range. So when you have stuff like that, I just don't see how these White Walkers are affected.
Did you have your best moment? Did you when you started the stream? I just remembered. For me, the best moment was the intro song, like the video, whatever it is called, the sequence
credits
with the crypts, with the crypts of Winterfell. I love that they added, and that was the best part of the episode for me.
I love the following movement of the White Walkers basically in the intro. Like it was already last Hearth. I bet they're going to go to Winterfell next episode.
Yeah.
I like the spinning thing because it gave you the the Red Wedding and two other. I don't know if it's the Birth of Dragons or because
Yeah.
I saw a comment, and then it was, I don't know if it was like the Field of Trident or if that was the wall that the other one was burning, but it couldn't be King's Landing because it wasn't there when Aegon came.
Yeah. And I would also have to agree. I want to say hi to Fritz Mods. Hi. And it's so nice to see all these people for after 2 years. But F. Trelishek said intro and Bran Jamie ending. I would have to agree with that because I really like this ending. And Jamie's, I mean, the actor, what's his name? Nikolai, did a really good just acting, but no, with his face, yes. And that was very good.
Toki Mello and Daddy TV says, do you guys think that Arya will tell the Night's King not today, since the Night's King supposedly the god of death? You think she's going to? I don't know if she's going to say not today. That would be cute. But, I don't think we have time for cuteness right now.
I think that would be hella cheesy if she goes to the Night King and say not today. Like, no, don't. It was that's her line, and I get it, but no. Maybe her saying that to someone else about death, talking about it, sure. But her talking to the damn Night King saying not today, like,
no. You would talk to him if you understood that he can understand or speaks the language. But this is what I'm saying. All the
What?
No.
Vince Harper, don't get cocky, kid. That's from Star Wars, Han Solo. Haha, I know it all, baby. Know it all.
But
so listen, I got to wrap this up because the Don's gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta eat. And I gotta put this video out and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So we're gonna come back and do another one. Hopefully, we can get LaDonna, Payne, and James up in this piece. You know what I mean? But before we do, I'm going to let everyone say goodbye. Then we're gonna rep the hood real quick. That's how we do when we are in doubt. So, Charlie, go around the horn. Let everyone say where they can find you, and let the people know.
All right. Well, you guys can find me at Charlie in Westeros on YouTube. You can also check out some of my videos. I made a review of episode 1 and some predictions for episode 2. One of those predictions was that I think Cersei is going to get together with the captain of the Golden Company. If you want to know why, check that video out. Anyway, thanks again, Tony, for having me. On to Nico.
I deleted my channel, so you can find me in Germany only, if you know where to find. And I'm really, really happy to be back with all of you on the panel and all of the people in the chat. I hope you had a great time. I really, really enjoyed, and I hope next week we can do this. The week after that, I'm in the Netherlands, so maybe we can work something out like some other time. But what is it? So thank you all so much for having me and for joining us. And until next week, bye from Nico.
Wait a sec, what is this? That T-Bay Teflon TV Nico and that cute white dude later think. What about the cute black dude?
Hey.
Come on here and try to. What about me? Jesus, I'm just chopped liver over here, Charlie. You're stealing my thunder, boy. Jesus Christ. Oh, upset now.
I mean, what can I say?
That's wild. I'm T Baby, and you can catch me on my channel. I stream with the Mad Queens. We talk about everything. So shout out to my ladies, and of course, it's always fun chatting with Small Council. And like I said, it's like family. We always have a good time when we're together.
There's no doubt. I'm going to work out. Anyway, as you always do, please rep your hood. Let the people know that we are worldwide. Put your state, your city, the country you're repping, and the Don Tony Teflon will read out as many as I can because they go pretty fast. So let's get it popping before we get up out of this. Peace.
Tony, last question. Are you doing a pregame tomorrow?
Yes, we're definitely doing a pregame tomorrow. Same time, 6 o'clock. We'll get it popping. Jake Cruz is in Vegas. OTDA is in Tennessee. Vince Harper's in Atlanta. Quentin is representing East Baltimore, baby. And Yonkers, New York. Lana is representing Sweden. The Prince that was promised is in Long Island. Long Island's in New York. We of course that's in New York, baby. Tracy's in Kentucky. Kayla's in Texas. Edwins in Fresno, Cali. Sean Lads in Atlanta. Alexandra, Trinidad, Tobago. Ricardo is in New Jersey. We got what's that? Childo is in Easton, MD. It's going too fast. I can't do it. Fandom DC NYC. Derek Brock is representing Oakland, California, as always. Cheryl B is in London, England. Fernando C is in Los Angeles, California. Spursman's in Scotland. TK Richards, Charleston. Aaron Z, Scotland. A couple of Pats from Scotland. What's that say? Poochie Plains and Tam from Gary, Indiana. Tony V's in San Antonio, Texas. Lana's in Scotland. York is in East Midlands, UK. I guess so. Vanessa is representing California. Claire Gray, who I've never seen my name on her nails yet, but anyway, is representing California, is representing England. Charlie in Westeros is in Canada. Claire Gray is Manchester, the North. So we gotta give it the North. Jojo's out of Greece, right there. Wolverine Claws in London. Claire should have been on the panel with us, but okay. Joanne is in Indiana. Spursman's and Living Shadow is in Texas. And Cheryl is in Storm's End. So thank y'all very much. We'll end with Queen Strader right there. Good place to end. Thank you very much. Thank everybody for coming out and chilling with the Small Council. We'll be back with more Small Council members, hopefully. But if not, we'll still be back here repping because this is the last season. We started this thing and we're going to end this thing. And as always, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.